Hello, everyone. This is Tabitha Sauer. I teach IB Math Applications and Interpretations, and I'm just presenting this IB Math extended essay presentation to you to give you an idea of what to expect if you are choosing to write your extended essay involving mathematics. So this will be our agenda for this presentation. We're going to go over the overview, choice of topic, examples of topics, how we treat the topic, research methods, writing the essay, examples of the topics, and interpreting the extended essay assessment criteria. So essays in this group could belong to one of the following 5 categories: the applicability of mathematics to solve both real and abstract problems, the beauty of math, for example, like geometry or fractal theory, the elegance of math and proving of theorems, for example, number theory, the history of math, the origin and subsequent development of a branch of math over a period of time that can be measured in tens of years, hundreds of years, or thousands of years. And then also the effect of technology on math and forging links between different branches of math, or in bringing about a new branch of mathematics, or causing a certain branch of math to flourish. So choice of topic. The extended essay may be written on any topic that has a mathematical focus, and it need not be confined to the theory of math itself. So students may choose the math topics from the fields such as engineering, the sciences, or the social sciences, as well as from math itself. So statistical analysis of experiments results taken from other subject areas are also acceptable, provided that they focus on the modeling process and discuss the limitations of those results. So such essays, if you choose that type, should not include extensive non-mathematical detail. Remember, you're choosing math as your focus, so you need to show the math. So if you're choosing a statistical approach, just make sure that you're not focusing on the wrong thing. Make sure you're focusing on the math of it. A topic selected from the history of math may also be appropriate, provided that a clear line of mathematical development is demonstrated. Concentration of the lives or of the personal rivalries between mathematicians would be irrelevant in this kind of extended essay. So make sure that you're focusing on the math development and not so much the person who developed it. This is one of the most important things I want to bring to your attention. Students will normally be expected to either to extend their knowledge beyond that encountered in the diploma program math course that they are studying, or to apply techniques that they've used in their math course to modeling in an appropriately chosen topic. What I need to stress to you right now, and this is very important, is that you may be taking a standard level IB math course. However, they're going to expect higher level math in the actual extended essay. So make sure that you're not just showing what you've learned, but taking what you've learned and expanding on that and extending that knowledge beyond. So using that higher level math in your essay. Some examples of topics so these examples are just for guidance. Do not necessarily have to go use it. I don't want you to necessarily use these examples, but these are just some examples to give you an idea of what they're expecting. So students must ensure their choice of their topic is focused. Do not give a broad topic. Remember, your word limit, I think, is 4,000 words. So you want to have a very focused topic. So here's some examples on the left that would be good topics. Examples on the right would be bad. They're too broad. So like prime numbers and cryptography would be great. The Hausdorff dimension of fractal sets would work. Continued fractions and birth-death processes. The proof of the law of quadratic reciprocity. And using graph theory to minimize costs. Those are all focused topics. Broad topics that you don't want to use would be like prime numbers, fractals, continued fractions. Those are just too broad of a topic to cover in a 4,000-word essay. Treatment of the topic. So whatever the title of your extended essay, students must apply good mathematical practice that is relevant to choosing the topic. Those could include data analyzed using appropriate techniques, arguments correctly reasoned, situations modeled using correct methodology, problems clearly stated, and techniques at the correct level of sophistication applied to their solution. So make sure you're treating your topics appropriately. Research methods. Students must be advised that mathematical research is a long-term and open-ended exploration of a set of related mathematical problems that are based on personal observations. So I want you to reread that. Students must be advised that mathematical research is a long-term, not just a short-term thing, and open-ended exploration. Like it'll continue after you actually write the essay, something that you can continue to learn about. And it's based on your own personal observations. The answers to these problems connect to and build upon each other over time. Students' research should be guided by analysis of primary and secondary resources. So a primary resource for research in math involves data gathering, visualization, abstraction, conjecturing, proof. A second resource of research refers to a comprehensive review of scholarly work, including books, journal articles, or essays in an edited collection. Writing the essay. Oh, real quick. A literature review of the math might not be as extensive as the other subjects. Students are expected to demonstrate their knowledge and understanding of the math they are using in the context of the broader discipline. For example, how the math that they are using has been applied before or in a different area than the one they're investigating. All right, so when it comes to writing the essay, throughout the extended essay, students should communicate mathematically. That's your whole point. You're choosing to do a math essay, so you need to communicate mathematically. Describe their way of thinking, writing definitions and conjectures, using symbols, theorems, graphs, and diagrams, justifying your conclusion. So there must be a sufficient explanation and commentary throughout the essay to ensure that the reader does not lose sight of the purpose in a mass of mathematical symbols, formulas, and analysis. The unique disciplines of math must be respected throughout. Relevant graphs and diagrams are often important and should be incorporated in the body of the essay, not just regulated to the appendix. So here's a few examples of topics, research questions, and suggested approaches. A topic could be the geometry of navigation. Research question, what was the role of mathematics and geometry in particular in navigation when relied on the stars? Does it still play a part now we have man-made satellites? Your approach would be using one of the two geometric representations of the Earth, spherical or episodial. Describe how maps and charts were produced to assist navigators in the past. So that's just an example, and just to give you an idea of like what a topic would be, the research question, and how you should approach that. Here are a couple more examples. And I just don't want to spend so much time going over these, but if you want, just stop by and ask one of your teachers for some of those examples to get more information on it. Something else that's really important, no double dipping. So students must ensure that their extended essay does not duplicate other work that they are submitting for the diploma program. For example, students are not permitted to repeat any of the math in their IA and their EE or vice versa. So make sure you're choosing a different topic for your extended essay if you're choosing a math extended essay than what your internal assessment topic would be. And it says supervisors play an important role in guiding students on these distinctions. So your teacher that you would have for that year will be helping you to guide on that. You got to be real careful of the risk of your diploma of academic misconduct if you should double dip. Okay, so interpreting the EE assessment. So there's 5 different criteria. Criteria A is focus and method. In math, the title of the essay can by itself be clearly describe the topic and or aim of the essay. It must not be too long, and any necessary clarification of it, together with a clear indication of the mathematical area and techniques, should be provided early in the essay. So tell them what your focus is on the essay and the method of what you're going to approach this early on so that they know what they're getting into when they read this essay. The sources consulted must be sufficient and must contribute to the research focus of the essay. Do not use sources if it's not contributing to your focus. And a sharply written, clear focus and research question can help the student to ensure that the essay remains within those 4,000 words. Do not get wordy with it and go past the 4,000. Criteria B is knowledge and understanding. The essay must show clear evidence of understanding of the mathematics that is relevant to the focus of the essay. Students will not be rewarded for attempting to exhibit a wider knowledge of the math that is not essential to the exploring of the research question. So if you are trying to just demonstrate that you know more math than what's necessary for this research question, you could get counted off for not being concise, basically. Students can demonstrate their understanding by giving accurate and complete explanations of subject-specific terminology, making knowledgeable comments on social material, and using source material in a relevant and appropriate way. Students should ensure that the essay's content is accessible to readers with a strong interest in the subject, as well as those with an advanced knowledge of it. So make this essay interesting for people with knowledge about that subject and even advanced knowledge of that subject. Students need to clearly communicate and explain their math. They must not talk about it. You actually have to do the math. You must show all the steps and the mathematical reasoning to make it clear that you understand the math of this. Criteria C is critical thinking. At each opportunity in the essay, students must demonstrate their abilities in correct deductive reasoning and argument, establishing a hypothesis, and formulating mathematical models. So make sure you're showing your thinking throughout this. Student discussion and evaluation of their results should be concise. I can't stress that enough. It is important that students do math rather than merely describe it. So don't just tell me about the math, show me the math. They must show the steps in the algebra to demonstrate that they really do understand what is going on. And if they take any element from a source, they must cite that source. Students should prove conjectures that can readily be proved. The essay must not just quote results. There must be evidence of the student doing the math. Criteria D is presentation. So you must provide a section and subsection structure to your essays with appropriate informative headings. Students should aim to demonstrate your mastery of appropriate concepts and an ability to present these in an effective way using mathematical means. Concise, elegant mathematics supported by graphs, diagrams, and important proofs that do not interrupt the development of the essay are encouraged. Use of charts, images, and tables. Diagrams and pictures should be in the text, immediately close to an explanation of them. Small data tables can be included into the body of the essay, but larger ones should appear in the appendix, which means standard deviations, correlation coefficients, etc. are given in the text. Students should include computer routines only if they are absolutely necessary for the understanding of the essay. These must always appear as an appendix. A bibliography is an essential structural element contributing as far as it is visually presented to criterion D. In addition to other presentation requirements, title page, table of contents, page numbers, and so on. While there is no explicit penalty for criterion D for exceeding 4,000 words, students should be aware that examiners will not read beyond that 4,000 word limit. So once they reach 4,000 words, they're done. They're not going to read anymore. So you want to make sure you're within that 4,000 words so that, let's say you went to 4,500 words and your conclusions in that 500 words, they're missing your conclusion completely. So make sure you stay within those 4,000 words. Any material that is not original must be carefully acknowledged, with specific attention paid to the acknowledgement and referencing of quotes and ideas. This acknowledgement and referencing is applicable to audiovisual material, text, graphs, and data published in print and electronic sources. If the referencing does not meet the minimum standard as indicated in the guide, name of author, date of publication, title of source, and page numbers are as applicable, and is not consistently applied, work will be considered as a case of possible academic misconduct. So make sure you reference your sources. Last but not least, criteria E, engagement. The criterion assesses the student engagement with their research focus and research process. It will be applied by the examiner at the end of the assessment of the essay and is based solely on the candidate's reflections as detailed on the RPPF. with the supervisory comments and extended essay itself as context. Students are expected to provide reflections in the decision-making and planning process undertaken in completing the essay. Students must demonstrate how they arrived at that topic, as well as the methods and approach used. This criterion assesses the extent to which a student has evidenced and the rationale for decisions made throughout the planning process and the skills and understandings developed. For example, students may reflect on the approach and strategies they choose and their reflective success, the approaches to learning skills they have developed and their effect on the student as a learner, how the conceptual understandings have developed and changed as a result of their research, challenges they faced in their research and how they overcame these challenges, questions that emerged as a result of their research, and what they would do differently if they were to undertake this research again. So reflect on everything that you've done in this essay through these steps. Effective reflection highlights the journey that the student has engaged throughout the EE process. Students must show evidence of critical and reflective thinking that goes beyond simply describing the procedures that have been followed. The reflections must provide the examiner with an insight into the student's thinking, creativity, and originality in the research process. The student's voice must be clearly present and demonstrate the learning that has taken place. So explain your thought process as you're going through this and be reflective so that we can see your thoughts and your thinking throughout the whole essay. All right, if you have any questions, talk to one of your following IB math teachers, Ms. Weiland. There's her email address, Mr. Tucci and Mrs. Sauer. Have a great day.